pronunciation lesson on keeping a conversation going. There are many different strategies you can use to sound interested in a conversation and keep the conversation going, especially when there are just two people involved, okay, rather than falling into an awkward or unwanted silence. When speaking with children, for instance, children are not very good at keeping a conversation going. They just tend to answer questions. So we adults tend to keep asking them questions in order to keep a bit of a dialogue going. And questions are a great way to keep a conversation alive, because if you ask a question, you will get a response. However, even with questions, there are different techniques that you can use, and we will look at them in just a minute. Also, it's always good to be a good storyteller, okay, to sound interesting, to be descriptive, to add anecdotes, so, always have one up your sleeve, or real life examples to illustrate whatever you are talking about. One strategy I would like to talk about first is using different devices to motivate the other person to keep talking, so sounding interested. For example, when someone is talking, you say, "Oh, really? Go on. And then what happened?" Teachers will tend to do this in a class when listening to students, and also ask questions. And on the subject of questions, depending on the topic, you can say, for example, if I told you, we were having a conversation, I told you I went out to dinner last night. If you don't ask for any more information, then that's it. That's the end of the conversation. Conversation killer right there. But try to ask a follow-up question. You can say, "Where did you go?" Then you will keep the conversation going, because then you'll get another reply. It's always better to ask an information or an open-ended question than a yes or no question. So if I say, "I went out to dinner last night," and you ask me, "Did you have fun?" Then I will say, "Yeah." If I don't want to give you any more information out of my own initiative, then that's it. It ends with a yes or a no. It's always important to be a good listener as well, okay? You have to know how to give and receive, okay? Give and take. So for a good conversation to take place, it's important that you find a balance between speaking and listening. Give information and receive information back. Ask questions, answer questions. If you ask or are asked too many questions, you will find the conversation becomes uncomfortable, okay? I don't like being asked too many questions. I don't like asking too many questions. Just as if, talking too much and not giving the other person a chance to talk, again, the conversation will not be fun or enjoyable. Another strategy used in conversation is mirroring the other person, and this could be repeating words or even gestures and other body language. So you tend to, you will, if you notice in conversation, if you touch your hair or, you do this with your hands, you will notice that the other person, if they're paying attention, if they're listening, they will do the same or something very similar, okay? Or even repeat the same words that you're using. So conversation is an art, and keeping it going takes practice, okay? Perhaps you could think of other ways to keep a conversation going. Even eye contact and body language are important, okay? So try practice your conversation skills, your speaking skills, and practice keeping a conversation going. As I say in the podcast, also there's different strategies also in texting, okay? We do a lot of chatting through text nowadays, and there's strategies in that as well. Thank you for listening.